Oh, you're on. Hey. Yeah. So hi, YouTube. The camera's rolling already. Um, we have a lot of new subscribers. I looked, it's like 23 new people in the last month. So some of you newer guys haven't, unless you went back and looked at the old videos, don't really know our product and why they're popular. And I'm a pretty humble dude. You know, I don't think I have the greatest knives in the whole wide universe. I do get told that a lot, and that's not me being cocky. That's just what people say. And I think a lot of that comes from the way I think about stuff. I'm kind of a practical use, kind of no BS kind of dude. So, I mean, I'll BS with the best of them, but I mean, my approach to knife design and kind of everything is pretty direct. My communication style, I mean, if I think you're stupid, it's going to be tough for me not to tell you you're stupid. So, we'll just kind of jump in. So, every blade that I design is going to be function first. So, I feel like this blade shape, it's a drop point blade, right? So a lot of people need this for camping a little bit heavier chores than they would an EDC blade. So the blade shape's been kind of figured out, right? What I do is I think about the height of this grind line, the angle of this sharpening, where this thing balances. And we don't just balance the stuff this way. I will literally grind and handle a blade. I don't know if it's a thing, rotational balance, but you guys that are big fans of our stuff, you're always like, man, the knife just moves so fast. When you pull the handles off, it is a full tang. The only holes are for these 3 screws, which I designed, BTW, and that's true. Camera wife and I were having a lot of problems finding the fasteners that we wanted to create more force. And we would be at shows, or the market, as we call it, and people were like, man, I love that blade, but I hate that handle. So, literally, instead of gluing them on, I had this moment, like, we should make our knife handles removable, right? So, they are. So, I used to do press-in pins, but then I had the thought that I could give people exactly what they wanted at the show by swapping them out on site. So then I wanted screws. I tried for real.
People were really excited about that at Blade Show, I remember.
Yeah, they were. And
Like,
to
you
me,
can change it?
yeah. And I spent half the time at Blade Show.
Switching handles.
We literally had this conversation yesterday. I'm like, listen, Blade Show next year, I don't know if we're going to be able to swap the handles out for people. I literally had this conversation. But it's cool, right? But I didn't do it to be kitschy or garner business, right? For me, it was, if my handles are nasty and I'm cleaning game and I get pathogen, blood behind there, I want to be able to take this off and clean it. So we started out using, I'm always trying to figure out like revolutionary stuff, and sometimes I get way off into these paths, right? And camera wife will be like, kind of narrow my focus. It happens a lot. So I'll get lost in the how and not focus on the why, if that makes sense. Like, how am I going to attach this with this super magical fairy saliva that you wink at and it hardens and the handle never falls off? Instead of going, listen, dipshit, you got to make knives today, instead of worrying about glue. But because of that weirdness that I have, we've come up with some pretty innovative stuff. The handles are one of them. I didn't want to do what everybody else does and do a flat head button style screw, because everybody was doing that, and they hold them together with freaking aluminum hardware, and that strips out. And they're teeny tiny little Allen wrenches that strip out, and they look sissy. I'm sorry, I'm a man. I wanted manly stuff that you can beat the hell out of, right? So 82-degree countersink, you get more clamping force on an angle than you would a flat. There's just more surface between here and here than there is there. It's science. You can dispute it all you want. Camera wife literally found the manufacturer on her phone in one evening. It was God and camera wife, because I was racking my brain, and she goes, "Do you have those drawings?" We had an engineer friend of mine make the drawings, and I sent them to her, and literally we had prototype screws in like 3 weeks. Pretty neat stuff. We still use them. So that's kind of the handle stuff. Like I said, balance and the way it meets your hand, it is designed for that. To me, this much handle sticking out is stupid, but for one reason. If you got to pound in a tent stake, or you got to pound somebody in the temple, or you got to bust somebody's window, that's it. Other than that, you're going to end up, for me, because it's practical, with a Raider that doesn't have too much extra handle sticking out. Because after all, this is a short blade. It's for doing work or sticking people that are trying to attack you. That's it. Multifunction is really what Tim Kell Knives is all about. And did I set out to make technical blades? Nope. We had this unique opportunity, again, camera wife's idea, to sell what we were selling. Because I was making blades, and I was at the railroad, and I had this feeling that that is what I was supposed to be doing. You can laugh all you want, but it is true. They were cutting a lot of jobs. They cut 1,800 jobs in 3 months. Furloughs were coming. I never wanted to be a knife maker. I didn't go, man, you know what I'd love to do in my life? Be a knife maker. I fell back asswards into this thing on accident. So we would make a blade, and I'd take it to the show. Every one of them, I can promise you, camera wife will agree with this. I'd come running up to her when she's walking around in our woods or in the front yard here with a sharp knife, and she's like, and I'm like, feel this one. This is it. And some of these, this is it knives that are going to hit big, we don't make anymore because they weren't it. But there are some that really hit that popularity point. And we would take this blade, and I'd put one of them out there and say, this is a prototype blade, it's not for sale. Bet your ass every day I sold them. Every time. Because I needed the money. Just like now, I need the money. I don't design stuff to hang on a wall. And people would pick it up and be like, can you sell me this? Like, no, man, that's a prototype. I just want to see what people thought about it. Every Saturday and Sunday, we were hitting this. I'm dead serious for 3 years. Every Saturday and Sunday, except for like 2 months in the winter. We were hitting it. Selling a bunch of blades. Tourist area in Chattanooga, so we'd get a lot of people from all walks of life, all types of jobs. They'd be, man, you know, have you thought about doing this? Take notes. Bet your ass the next week I did that. I would try it. I wanted balance, I wanted feel, I wanted heavy freaking duty. That's why we've gone from just acid etch blades. Well, they were polished at first. I'd sit there and polish every freaking blade, and I could make 7 blades a week. Now I can make 70, and that blows my mind. Well, those of you that have been waiting a few weeks for your orders, you're like, well, if you're making 70, where the hell's my blade? It's coming. It's coming. But I could test them out. And a lot of knife companies or makers don't get to do that. If it didn't work, I'm not a diva. Try again. The balance wasn't right, didn't feel right. Blade designs have come from you guys' heads, stuff like that. Like, one of the other things that I really don't talk about is there's a pattern to all of my grind lines. You can't hear it because the nickel boron's so slick. What this does is this way and this way, it is 60% less material touching your cutting surface. And I get asked all the time, how did you do that? You know the why now, because when there's 60% less material, you can almost hear it. It flies through stuff, and then you put nickel boron on top of that, and it cuts, and it cuts, and it cuts. So you can keep the integrity of a very, very freaking durable blade, but cuts like something that's way, way thinner. So we put that rotational balance in there, and everything is thought out. None of it is that kitschy, stupid shit that looks like it's supposed to kill zombies and got razor backs on the claws, and I don't do that crap. I just don't. Because if this has got a bunch of stuff sticking out of it and you come at me and I cut my face off, I'm really pissed. at whoever made that blade. You know what I'm saying? So we're really about function. And my mindset is the same way, that way. It's like the multi-clip. This thing flips 6 different ways. I'm spitting everywhere. I have all these weird symptoms because I'm cutting my caffeine back, so I'm like feeling really weird. I've said for a long time the Marine Corps and Tim Kell knives runs on really strong black coffee, and I've gotten to the point where I got to pull back. So I'm like kind of drunk seeming. I'll say this. There's another thing. So the back of this blade is dead, beautiful, smooth, right? You need to be able to throw sparks with that. But this one is not. So can you see the texture?
Yeah.
Nickel boron is so slick, and I hate jimping to the point that I had to do something. So I leave that texture around the night stalkers and the night shades only. It's obvious that I can put a smooth grind around the edge of a blade, but these are designed to not to, in the words of Mater, so that you get more purchase on that. And like these little guys, look at that. That's interesting. Your thumb pushes right in there. They're not decorative. There are other companies that have done these because they look cool, and it provides no functional necessity whatsoever. I did this for grip because when your hands are wet, or it's raining, or they're bloody, you need a good purchase on your blade. The handles on everything in Tim Kell is designed. I'm just explaining why we're selling out and why our blades are so popular. These are the true matters around it. We're getting very popular because, I'm not going to say because I thought of it, but we have spent a lot of freaking time developing what makes sense for the user. And that's what we get 9 times out of 10. Man, I have been looking for this in a blade, and you finally did it. And I'm like, man, I'm just a dude. I am blessed with the ability to take a piece of steel and shape it to your hand and balance it for the natural movements of your body for whatever the task it was designed to do. I'm blessed. I'm not an engineer. I've used a bunch of tools in my life, and I've used some crappy tools. And I'm like, if I'm going to make something, I want it to be the best tool. And that's it. Like this grind. I put my hand back there so it'll focus on it. So this is super, super short, right? It's not what you typically would see. Is it focusing on this point?
Hold it still and it will eventually. Maybe not. It doesn't want to focus on
Okay.
it.
This is a very steep triangle. This blade is not your EDC peel of fruit blade. Now it'll open packages, it'll cut your fishing line, it'll skin some game, but this wide, heavy angle is designed to open flesh. There's no glamorous way to put that. If you cut a pig carcass with this thing, it's going to leave a wound channel 0.125 wide and very shallow and very hard to close, because there's a need for this, and there's a need for a blade that acts that way. So I made it. There's a need for a blade that has a circular grip that's skinnier, that fits naturally into that wrap of your hand, right? There's a need for a blade that has a pinky ring, that if somebody's trying to get you, they're going to have to take your damn pinky off to take your blade. Even if you drop it in a struggle, it's hanging out there, right? There's a need for a blade that has a forefinger. Sometimes there's a need for a blade to hit somebody in the temple or bust a piece of glass. You see, that is Tim Kell in its inception and the thought process and the way I design my stuff. if there's a need for it, look, it needs a deep finger well, because if you're pushing, if you've got a reverse Tonto nightshade, see that? The back end of that's all business too. Nobody in their right mind, and there is a company that has a reverse Tonto blade, and it's got a little stick for a freaking handle. And you go push up on that, and there's no finger well, there's no nothing. Look at this. I mean, your thumb is all up on there. If you push up on it, it needs a deep finger well. Why? Because when you hit something that makes it stop, you don't want this piece on the shiny part. That's just simple. Stay out the shiny part, Eric. He knows what I'm talking about. And every time he gets a blade, I'm getting a picture of blood coming out of some part of his body because he cut himself. Sometimes it's my fault for my bad design, and we don't do that anymore. But 9 times out of 10, shiny side away from the pink stuff or brown stuff. You know, there's all sorts of flavors, people in this world. So that is kind of a delve into the mind of why do I do stuff like that. Am I all about making a pretty blade? No, not really. I use this black gray color of nickel boron. We're the only company in the world because it doesn't reflect light, right? There's time when you need a blade to not reflect light. And you know when that time is. I don't have to tell you that, right? Tactical is, it is here, and it's a mindset, and it's a preparation, and it's a situational awareness, and it's a thought process that goes into really your whole life. If your job is to get out of somewhere alive, you're not broadcasting through your clothes, through what you say, through what you do, and how you act, how capable you are, or what the hell you're carrying. Listen to me on that, please. I conceal carry most places I go. Conceal carry. It's here. I'm not trying to quote Sun Tzu in The Art of War. That is like 200s time period. BC, you know what I'm saying? It's fought here. It is in your brain. So it makes sense to me to think about if I'm in a situation where I'm not trying to be seen, I don't want somebody to know what I got. A dark colored gray blade makes sense, right? But for you all, I will make something that's shiny and pretty and blingy, and people will buy these and they'll collect them. So I do that too. But the premise, even the freaking sheath, look at that. Can you see that? That is the width of my belt. Yes, it's an inside the waistband pistol clip, but I'm not using it inside the waistband style because it's what works for what I want to do. I want concealable. If I'm going to Hamilton Place Mall and I'm eating Sbarro pizza with the kiddos, I do not need this and or bigger to cut a piece of pizza. One, if somebody bigger than me might want to come take my fancy giant ass blade from me, and I don't want that to happen. You know, you think about that stuff. So I want to design something that's I can cut my pizza with, but look, it's got dual finger wells because that handle's short. You are not coming off this blade. It's got 2 fingers. It's shaped to pull into your hand. It's made that way. The bumps on there, the grenade texture, that's for something. These finger wells, that's for something. The bounce is for something. The way that grind line looks, that's for something. The thinner tip, come on guys. It cuts better. It sticks better. It's for something. You know, I don't make that kitschy shit. You can buy that. I'm not going to name drop. You all have owned those blades. We get this a lot lately. All of this design and all of these improvements and products are also what begets that new price point. The quality level of our blades, not being cocky, outshines a lot of other places because it comes from here and it comes from here. That lady behind that phone checks me on quality and attitude and morals every freaking day, and that is not a joke. We stand behind what we make. We stand behind our faith. We stand behind this country and the values that they were founded on. So we want to bring something to the market that has all of that: usefulness, intelligence, morality, durability, old school quality, all that wrapped up into that. So that's what you're buying when you pay that price point. I know that this goes without saying, and I know we've had to lose some customers because of the price points. Inflation and quality. The lifetime warranty. Not lifetime warranty, comma, but, or and, or if. It is literally, if you break it, towing a car with a blade, I'm going to give you another one. I'm not going to make an excuse. I'm just not. You know what I'm saying? I stand behind the blade. It's the last one that you've got to buy. And that's in my hopes that you'll like this one so much that you'll want to buy that one and that one and that one and that one. And when you're too old and decrepit to use it, give it to your grandson. Because we don't do that crap anymore because we can't buy stuff that lasts that long. I know this has rambled on, but I did just want to kind of, this is a whole bunch of information from a lot of my older videos before we got the exposure that we have now, to just kind of bring you guys into the fold to understand why I think we make the best damn everyday carry tactical blades. We make combat grade stuff. Our stuff literally goes into combat. I have the pictures to prove it, but I'm not going to, because we don't market that way. We don't say buy our blades because Joe Schmuckatelli used it in Syria. You know what I'm saying? You buy it, you talk to your buddies, read the reviews.
Yeah, I mean, can I say that all of your customers you've gotten them organically?
Yeah.
Because you don't do, like, some people just have successful, social media or
Right.
YouTube following or know somebody or whatever. And you really have done it person to person, beating the streets.
For real. Bootstrap it.
People telling their friends and their friends.
We've worked hard at this thing, and we really, really deeply care about what our customers say. I mean, I had a slight little dust up with a customer via email this week, and if I looked at it from the 10,000 foot view of what it may have looked like if you're used to dealing with other companies, I understand why this dude may have thought that there was a possibility that I was jerking around and wasn't selling their blade. But I mean, I would think you'd see that on the YouTube video comments and on the reviews and all that. We don't pay for those. We did. I mean, we beat the street and sweated it out and made quality blades and took care of customers. So in effect, we paid for them with blood, sweat, and tears, but we didn't give somebody $20 and say, hey, leave me 5-star reviews or say I'm awesome on YouTube. Because guess what? People can say whatever the hell they want on YouTube, and the worst we have is a handful of thumbs down. And I take that personal. A stupid little thumbs down that some kid or some person that hates me for some stupid mistake I may have made in my life at some point. And yeah, I've made them too. I don't just make blades now. I used to do stuff before I made blades. I think we all did, right? But I'm not a freaking...
Yeah, and whoever, anybody that has outstanding orders, they're coming.
They are.
They're doing everything you can in the order they're received and
Yes.
when you get materials and all that. We haven't forgotten about you.
That's right. And we're actually really catching it rapidly. The Guardians are a pain in my side. It's literally a daily conversation, not daily, weekly with the steel place. Hey, man. And then look, they're trying to, just like I'm trying. So y'all be patient with me. Be patient.
We appreciate your patience.
Very, very much. It really does affect me. The conversations off camera, in the living room. Like, man, I hate being behind. It weighs on me. The little issue was that the blade shows in stock. So one would think if the blade shows in stock that it ships. But what you also have to see in the background is there's I gotta find the handle. Not find, I know where it is. I gotta put the handle on it. I gotta sharpen it. I gotta make your case. I gotta print the label. I gotta put it in a package, and I gotta take it to the post office. And that looks like about 30 minutes per blade. So if you get 30 orders in a week or in a day, which we did because of the Wounded Warrior hunt, 30 orders times 30 minutes is why at 40 years old I have gray in my freaking hair. They're in stock, right? They are. But 30 in stock blades sell overnight. Thank you. Thank you. But it just takes me time. They're not coming into the shop all sharp and with the cases and all that. Click, 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 click out the door.
You make them.
I make them.
Handmade.
And I know anybody in the world can put handmade blades on their website and all that, but I for real do. I mean, that's just what it is. And if I hire somebody else, we're going to have to raise the prices again. We just built a new shop. I got one dude sitting in there pushing buttons. I don't even go over there. It's like an event to have to go there, and it's 15 miles away. The place that does the plating is 5 miles away, and I got to schedule that shit. I'm like, hey, can we go? Do this and that? And we got gas money. With the zombies out there, I got to pick up blades. You know, and what happens if they slow down? You know what I'm talking about? It's the reality of the situation. But I'm a real dude, and these are real blades, and I don't do the shop tours anymore because they're literally, it's a company that keeps ripping my shit off. Prices, hardware, shape, colors, I found out. But what are you gonna do? They say imitation is flattery, but when you're a small guy, I don't have any employees. We built the shop, and this other dude runs his own company doing work for me. So it's me and this lady behind the thing. And that little kid sitting over there listening to music off camera. There's a couple more kids running around too, but this is the whole thing right here. You know, I mean, that's it. So your complaints go to me. Your ideas go to me. The work comes to me. The blades come out of my brain, and the improvements, all that stuff. Like you'll notice, all the Bushmans now. Look at that, a sharpening choil. Because I listened. It needs to happen. If you want a premium product, you gotta do premium stuff to it. So, I guess that's kind of it. In a nutshell, it's probably a really big nutshell. I doubt many people made it to the end of this 6-hour long video.
Almost 30 minutes.
Yeah, so it'll be on there. You can watch it in pieces, I guess. But thanks for watching. Thanks for the business. Thanks for learning a little bit about me and our products and my family and Northwest Georgia mountains. It is Sunday, 24th of October. Scary days this week, I think. Next Sunday is Halloween.
Don't hesitate to reach out if you have any questions.
Look,
if you have an order that you're wondering what's going on, he's happy to explain.
when that email is signed Tim, it is me. For real. I get help from camera wife on the social media stuff, but those are my answers going through her fingers, or she goes, that's too complicated, and hands me the phone.
And when you do get your order, when they do get their order, everybody always says it was worth the wait.
They do. It's worth the wait. That's why they show out of stock. And in stock does not mean it ships 14 seconds after you buy the blade. Please understand that. I'm trying. I really do stand behind the stuff. I think that's it. Bye.